We wrote our usual thin little storyline simply to give a reason for being of this picture. And what we postulated, that we'd show a climb, a stage a fall, and then show how the persons were trained in safety to make high-angle climbing practical and relatively safe.
We went out to Old Rag and again back to the Hollywood climb, where we intended to stage a fall, and the leader is Earl Reed.
No relative of Johnny Reed.
No relative of Johnny Reed. He is seconded by Jane Showaker, and the third member of the team is Tommy Marshall, who, when this film was made, was still a young teenager.
Reed was one of the nicest individuals that ever got tangled up with our gang. Reed makes her a remarkably efficient-looking climber, doesn't he?
Jane Showaker is going across a traverse stretch of the climb to the perch where the leader is sitting.
That's a nasty little step.
Now the idea is to show that a very slender, small person like Jane could arrest the fall of a big man like Earl Reed and do it using a dynamic belay.
She climbed Devil's Tower with Jane Showaker, with
Jan Conn.
Yeah.
And so Earl is going across a section where he then peels off the rock, falls, and is caught. And the idea is to bring him back up.
He wasn't in distress with his feet. He was doing that for show, wasn't he?
To effect the rescue, we thought we would introduce the Bulgari technique. The Bulgari technique involves letting down 2 ropes, each with a sling at the end, so that the climber who fell could then step into the loops, and the ropes would be pulled up by the climbers above, and he would then be brought back up onto the ledge. So before the Bulgari can be effected, the second has to bring the third over, tie him in, and then while the poor leader is dangling below, and then one of the loops is let down, and now getting into the loop tends to be a bit of a problem. Notice that he puts the rope through the loop around his waist so that it hugs his body.
So in the first place, he's not in his stirrups right. They should wrap around your leg inside and go into your stirrup. And then, now let's see what else is wrong.
These are nylon ropes. They are stretchy, and you'll see the problems that are engendered by stretchy ropes. You see, the technique was developed in the days of the non-stretchable, or let's say less stretchable manila rope, and with the highly stretchable nylon rope, every time the climber tries to take a step up, the rope stretches back down. And of course, some of the problems encountered were due to the fact that the two people up above may not have been as proficient as they should have been in pulling in the slack rope.
No, they're not seeing. They're not taking up the rope, because when his foot comes down, it comes down lower than when he went up. So this is pitiful. This will never do to criticize Reed, because he's one of our most graceful climbers. But the girls are letting him down. The belayers, Tommy and Jane. Now, Minahan thought this was one of his best photographic efforts.
But in any event, we tried to simulate a suitable Bulgari rescue just to make the storyline complete. Then we, as you'll see, we'll break away and we will show why it was possible for a small person to effectively protect or arrest a falling climber, and we will show the training that's involved. We will show some of the safety techniques that were developed out at Carter Rock. Now, again, this shows the completion of a climb after the rescue has been achieved, demonstrating that if you do know how to belay and do know your safety techniques, no harm is done when a leader falls, provided he doesn't bang his head against a projecting bit of rock.
Tommy Marshall, he's climbed Mount McKinley since this time.
Very excellent climber.